This is Let's Finally Talk, a heart-to-heart with Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, live streaming every night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm your host, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Join me on YouTube at Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, on Facebook at Dr. Jacalyn, and on Instagram at Dr. Jacalyn, as seen and heard on the USA Global TV and Radio Network worldwide. We've earned the YouTube Silver Creator Award, and I've earned the 100 Global Top Women Icons in Media. My TV shows are Iconic Women, Creating a World of Possibilities, Judgment, the Hidden Sin, A Woman's Prerogative, Sisterhood Across Borders, It's Your Healthy Lifestyle, and the latest updates. Thanks so much for watching. See you tomorrow. We're streaming every night live on Let's Finally Talk. Hello and welcome to Let's Finally Talk. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and our show topic today is the judgment we hide behind our good intentions. And I thought this was especially relevant given the time of year, the holidays, where people get together. Maybe there are more family get-togethers, getting together with friends, a lot of socialization and even work functions. And so this can be the time of year when the year's coming to a close and people start sharing information that they really feel is in your best interest. And so we're going to take a look at how we can be aware of our own behavior as well as that of other people's. So this program is based on my book, Holy But Harmful, The Silent Sin of Judgment. And it's also based on what I consider the Bible of listening, Mastering the Power of Elevated Listening. So if you have taken any of my courses, you know that there are 4 pillars, 4 cornerstones of elevated listening. And so this show really brings awareness around the 4 pillars and how we can incorporate them into our lives. So what I'm all about is finding peace for myself, for you to find peace. I believe that when we have inner peace, we are one step closer to having world peace. I'm also a peace ambassador. I'm taking regular training. And so I really feel that it's important that I share with you what it is that I'm learning and what I've learned. So the first thing I want to share is whenever I teach one of my listening courses, typically, and this could be you, somebody watching this TV show, maybe you have relationships that are not peaceful and you really in your heart believe you've done everything you possibly can, and it's the other person. I hear this a lot when I teach my classes. People will say, well, I'm having a challenge with my daughter, with my son, with my husband, with my partner, and it's his fault. It's her fault. And so after they take the course, or as we're going through the role plays, there's an aha moment where they realize, you know what? It's not just my daughter's fault. It's not just my husband's fault. I'm also playing a role. So the whole reason that I'm doing this show is not to make anyone feel bad or to bring shame on anyone. It's so we can have awareness of our own behavior. So as I mentioned at the top of the hour, with a lot of social get-togethers at this time of year, sometimes people will make comments that they truly think they have a good intention, but yet it doesn't come across that way. And we're kind of sitting with it and they'll say, this is for your own good. Or I've been meaning to tell you this for a while. And especially when you bring in some type of alcohol or other kinds of intoxicants that people start feeling a little more free to say what they want to say. And basically, we think we're helping someone, but we're actually harming them. So why do people hide judgment behind concern, morality, and good intentions? Many times it's because they want to protect their ego. They're not willing to actually look at themselves. And so there's something missing in themselves, and then they want to pin it on you because they don't want to actually look in the mirror. So I always say, when you look in the mirror, look into your own eyes because you are looking at your best coach. No one knows you better than you do. And I know there are times when sometimes we feel lost and we kind of feel like, what is my purpose? Why am I here? But when we work on ourselves, when we actually have tools, when we do research, when we are watching self help, self improvement platforms such as this, we actually can embrace some of the key learnings so that we get to know ourselves better. And when we know ourselves as well as we can, we realize when someone is stepping over the line and providing information that really has nothing to do with us. It has more to do with them. And I'll give some examples, but how do we disguise judgment as kindness? This takes place in families a lot of times, one on one partnerships, excuse me. And someone will say, I really love you. So I need to tell you this. And they're framing it up like, okay, this is based on love. But in actuality, it's typically not. Or when someone says, I really care about you and I see the way you are making decisions, and I have to tell you this. They don't have to tell you anything. First of all, did they ask for permission? No, they did not. They just decided to go ahead and give the information. Because when someone asks for permission, I've been observing something. Would you be open to hearing what I have to say? You can say, thank you, but no, I'm not interested. Or in what context are you sharing this? And when the permission is not given, then we don't have a right to give the information. But sometimes people will persist anyway. And that's where it really gets to be a state of judgment because they can't control themselves. They feel so strongly about the information because it has something to do with them. Maybe it has to do with them dominating the situation or being in control of the situation, but it's coming from a place of fear as opposed to a place of love. So, why does this topic matter? It matters because we might have friends and family who are looking out for us. And the truth is, the only one who can really look out for us, is you, is me. We have to look out for ourselves. People can be concerned, they can give us their advice if they ask for permission. And if they don't ask for permission, you have the ability to set a boundary and say, I don't want to hear what you have to say. I appreciate you thinking of me, but I'm good where I am. And once you don't give people that ability, and if they continue on, then you're watching what I call a meltdown. You're watching someone who cannot control their emotions. And so if you've ever taken any of my classes or if you've watched any of my shows, the analogy that I love to give is imagine you are out in the wilderness, you're out in the woods, and you have to build a fire so that you can stay warm, so that you can cook food, whatever the case may be. It takes certain things to build a fire. And then it takes certain things to keep the fire going. So it's the same thing in relationships. When you have an area, a topic that is pretty well controversial, or it's something that you know is going to trigger emotions in yourself or in another person, you have the opportunity to fuel that fire so that it keeps getting higher and higher. Or you have the ability to say, I choose not to engage, I choose to walk away. And what happens is people fall into the trap of they're so used to the dysfunctional behavior in the situation, they don't see it for what it is. And the person keeps grooming them with, I love you. I'm only telling you this because I care about you. But the truth is, it's judgment nonetheless. So being aware of how someone's speaking and what they're saying will give us the necessary information so we can say, aha, this is going to be a judgmental statement. And before they make it, you can choose to disengage. So, with this type of judgment, I'm calling it a disguise. People will disguise the judgment as concern for your well being. And they're not truly concerned for your well-being. They're more likely concerned with how your behavior is going to impact them. So think a lot about that. You decide the holidays are here and now 2026 is coming. Maybe you're going to make some resolutions. You decide you are going to change your lifestyle. Well, whatever the change might be, that could have an impact on your partner. That could have an impact on your business. That could have an impact on your family. And so you say, you know what, the New Year's coming, I'm going to lose weight. So therefore, I am not going to go out to dinner. I am not going to go to friends' house for parties, whatever it is. And your partner's thinking, oh, so just because you are going to lose weight, now it's going to impact me. So they may say to you, you know, I love you. I don't think you need to lose any weight. So even though you feel you need to lose weight, they're saying, I love you. I don't think you need to lose weight because they don't want you changing your behavior. Because when you change your behavior, it's going to impact them. One of a clear example I can remember is when I got divorced a long time ago, and we had a group of friends and we all did things together. And I remember one of the men saying to me later, he said, you know, I'm so angry at you for filing divorce because you ruined everything that all of us had. And I said, really, how's that so? And he said to me, well, we were a group, the group of us. We went on vacations together. We had dinners together. And I said, okay, so the fact that I was unhappily married, you wanted me to stay in that situation so all of us could get together. And he said, yeah, basically that's what I wanted. So it's self-absorbed. It was about something completely unrelated to me. So I want you to be aware of these things when people start giving you information. Then there's also the morality cloak. And this is when someone says to you, hey, I've been seeing what you're doing and you're doing it all wrong. You didn't ask for their opinion and they're hiding behind something. So I'll give another example. I remember I had a client, and the client would say that regardless of how the employer wanted things done, that this person did it a certain way. So we shouldn't follow the company standards. We should just follow this person's standards. So the person was basically coming up with justification of why what this person was saying was correct as opposed to what his employer, the organization, was saying. So this can be based the morality cloak can be based on the fact that people are hiding behind tradition, faith, or the need to judge others. And there are some cases where people are so used to coming from a place of fear, and they'll hide behind the statement, oh, I was just joking. That was just a joke. I didn't mean it. They did mean it. They did mean it. And now they're making an excuse because they realized they stepped over the line. And you can call people out on this in a very nice way. And I'm not about having confrontations and arguments. What I'm about is you finding peace and not having unsolicited information coming into your life, because people can be really adamant about it, especially family members. And you may also hear this. When I was your age, I did this, judgmental. Okay. When person was one age, a person's another, it has nothing to do with anything, because each of our lives, we take different paths. And so you can flag that as judgment. The next thing is passive aggressive judgments. This is sometimes not easily detectable because we're so used to passive aggressive comments. So one sign could be eye rolling, like, oh, sighing, making body language that basically says, you know what you just said is ridiculous, where I'm judging you. We are so accustomed to not wanting to hear what someone has to say that we just start creating our own drama. And for me, what I'd like to share with you is having the ability to be curious. If you think about young children, they're curious. They're curious. They want to learn. They're asking a lot of questions. But as we get older, instead of asking questions wanting to know, we ask questions in judgmental ways. So I don't know what the age is where we go from having all that childlike wonder and curiosity to being so judgmental, but it typically happens when someone tells us we're not good at something. So I just had a team member have a show about this. Children were playing in some type of sporting activity and parents were heckling. And so they were putting the children down. And so at that moment, a child who has a curiosity for playing baseball, for example, softball, whatever it might be, and an adult says, "You're no good." That's the moment when judgment comes in and changes everything. And so when we are judged, we remember it. And I read somewhere in research that when someone says something negative to us, we may forgive them, but we can remember it for up to 20 years. And if you think about it right now, can you think of something someone said to you that hurt your feelings? And maybe you forgave them, maybe you're still involved with them, but you still remember what they said. And maybe after they said it, they said, "I'm only kidding. You know I'm kidding. I love you. I'm just kidding." That is passive aggressive behavior. That is judgment cloaked in love. That is not love. When someone truly loves you, in my opinion, they want to build you up. They want to support you. They want to be your biggest cheerleader. But I've heard personally from people, I have to tell you what's wrong with you because I love you. Really? You don't have to tell me what's wrong with me, because anyone who's paying attention to themselves, we know where we're limited. We know things that we have to work on. I personally work on myself every single day. I couldn't have a bigger critic of myself than me, believe me. But when someone comes to me and says, "I need to fix you, here's what you need to fix," red flag right away. Now, once we hear the red flags, again, the holiday time, "Darling, I love you, but you are starting to put on weight." Judgmental. The three questions: is it kind? Is it necessary? And is it true? My own father, whom I love very much, he passed away, he would say to me, "You look good, but you could look better. You have a master's degree, but you could have gone to a better school." And so next week, I start a course, Chief Strategy Officer at Wharton. And part of the reason that I even applied was to get my father's approval. And he died in 2012 because I would have been like, "See, Dad, now I am going to Wharton." So my point being, just being vulnerable and honest, is that when someone says something judgmental to us, we can forgive them, but we never forget. I recently recorded my first single, Please Listen to What I Say. That's the name of the single, with my dear friend, Dr. Madeline Chan, Maddie Loveday. And I recall, as an adult woman, two different people telling me I had a terrible voice. I would just sing because I love to sing. And so I stopped singing. I would sing in the shower, I'd sing when I was driving. I just stopped singing because I was told I have a terrible voice. And Dr. Chan saw something in me and she said, "There's a singer in there." And I remember when I first took my vocal lessons with her, one of the songs that we were working on had the word love in it. And when I would sing the word love, I would start to cry because there was part of me that was broken. There was part of me from those two people telling me that I couldn't sing that left such a deep, indelible mark on me. And I forgave them, but yet it held me back from finding my dream and following my dream. And so now I've recorded my first single and I've put it out there to the universe. And I don't know if people like it or they don't like it, but guess what? I like it. And I'm glad that I did it because I was able to break through that judgment of someone telling me I wasn't good enough. So I'm here to tell you to be aware and alert for when people have judgment coming across as good intentions, or judgment coming across as, "I'm only trying to help you." Red flags for people crossing the line. So, what do we do with this information? Well, the first thing is we become aware of it. And we do not judge the people who are judging us. Why? It comes back to building the fire. Do you want to get engaged in a negative energy situation that is toxic, that is going to take away your power, or do you want to just be aware of it? Example, I'm going to go back to the woods again, okay? Because I'm not somebody who goes into the woods. You go into the woods and you see a huge black bear that is not looking at you, it is facing the other way. Do you decide I'm going to approach the bear and see what's going to happen? Or do you slowly retreat, walking backwards so that you can get away from the situation and be safe? It's the same kind of thing when we engage in human behavior. Are you the one walking towards the fight? Sometimes people like a good fight. They've got it in their system, like, you know what? I'm in a bad mood today, and I am willing to go toe to toe with you. I say no. I choose peace every time. I choose to protect my energy and put my energy where it can flourish. So you recognize that your family member is now about to judge you. You know, Susan, I really love you. And as your mother, as your sister, whatever, as your friend, I have to tell you this. You're starting to look a little dumpy. You're kind of letting yourself go. Okay, for me, I had someone say to me, I have to tell you this, but you're really showy. Really showy. Interesting. Red flag for judgmental behavior. So they're about to give you the information, or maybe they just come right out with the information. What do you do? Well, here's one scenario. You know what? You're so fat and disgusting. People do that. They come right back. I didn't want to tell you, but you smell. I didn't want to tell you, but you're a loser. People start using words, labeling words. Okay. That to me is a no. We do not label and call anyone a name because there's nothing the other person can do with that information. That is not kind, it's not necessary, and it's not true. In your mind, you may think they're this, this, and this, but they could argue a completely different way, and a third neutral party could see it from a different way. So before you come back with your comment, maybe choose the 6-second pause. Gather yourself together. I understand. Thank you for sharing your feelings. Now, some of you might think, I can't do that because now I'm not in control. I have to one up the person. What does that mean? It means we're coming from a place of ego. We're coming from a place of fear. And there's nothing good that's going to come from it. So you may think to yourself, well, she hurt my feelings. I'm going to give it right back to her because I've been holding this in for a long time, but now I'm coming out blazing. Nothing positive is coming from that. It's you and the bear. You're engaging the bear. Now you're going to say something, then they're going to say something. And maybe it gets to the point where there is a point of no return. It is absolutely impossible to take back the words that you said. And I want you to think about this. Have you ever unloaded a bunch of negativity on someone and later you physically felt sick? You thought to yourself, I can't believe I just lost control of myself like that. I can't believe I stooped to that level. Have you ever done that? You can't take it back. You can go to the person and say, I'm sorry. Well, what did I just share? Research shows the person can remember that comment for up to 20 years. So identify the fact that they are about to judge you. Maybe they just come out with whatever the comment is. You choose not to engage. By not engaging, by not giving any feedback, they're basically talking to a brick wall. There's nothing to ignite them for them to continue. And what they will be left with, if they have some shred of humanity in them, is they're going to feel really bad. They're going to feel badly that they stooped to the level that they did. So we're not judging them. We're giving them grace. We're saying, you know what? That person obviously is going through something and has some things to work on. And I'll give an example. When we have live broadcasts, there are some cases where people will put negative comments. And I see the negative comments because I'm the owner of the network. So I'm able to see what people are sharing. I don't address negative comments. And the reason being, I think to myself, if you are in the public domain and you decide you're going on any of the social media platforms and you are with your name or your account name, you are putting something mean, something that's not kind, it's not necessary, and it's not true. You're putting it out in the public domain. I give you grace because clearly there's something broken inside you that you would want to have a permanent comment out for the world to see. So give the other person grace. They're not where you are. And there's no judgment about that. You're watching this show, hopefully, because you want to learn something. And so by learning something, does that mean you can then go to the person who insulted you and you can say, hey, I just want to let you know, I was watching this TV show, Let's Finally Talk. And what I learned is you're a really judgmental person. Okay, what is that going to do? It's going to back the person into a corner. They're going to have to be defensive because what are they going to say? Oh, you're right. Thanks so much for letting me know. No, because they don't have the awareness, but you have the awareness. So since you have the awareness, you can keep it to yourself. That's actually living from a place of grace. You don't have to ram it down someone's throat that they're judgmental. What you can say is, I choose not to engage. You see the bear in the woods? I choose to step back slowly, calmly, keeping my emotions at bay. And so something else, I've been told that animals can sense when a human is coming from a place of fear. When you're coming from a place of fear, people will jump all over that. We just had a show on before this, and I want to just kind of segue to that. We were talking about cybersecurity. And so many times on social media, people will post things that they're not doing well. I saw somebody post something that they're looking for a home, they're homeless, and every day they're posting more things. I'm on XYZ street at the corner, if anyone can drive by and give me money. And so they're actually exposing themselves to being judged as well as someone perpetrating a crime. So think about what you're putting out into the world. Are you putting out that you're desperate? Are you coming from a place of fear? You don't have to share your fears with the entire world. Once you work on yourself and you look in that mirror and you really like who you are, you're happy to share where you missed the ball. You're happy to share where you failed because you've learned from it. But if you're not at that point and you are vulnerable, you can give people who are not coming from a place of love, you give them the option to take advantage of you. So I'm saying to you, take back your power. Be able to recognize when someone is saying something to you that doesn't feel right, and it's probably from judgment. Now, let's turn this around. Maybe you are the one who's making judgmental statements. We have to look at what is it in your life that's missing, that's causing you to judge other people. Because the truth is, we all want to feel safe. We want to feel loved. We want to feel respected. And yet, for some reason, some people are more inclined to put out negativity. So if you think about yourself and your relationships, are you the one who is insulting, who is demeaning? Are you the one who's not willing to listen? Are you the one who's constantly interrupting? Are you the one, as soon as someone starts to share their story, your story's better? That is coming from a place of insecurity. You are insecure. And so therefore, you're not showing up with that childlike wonder, with that childlike curiosity. For me, I'm known as the listening mentor. I listen all the time and I listen with an open mind. And what I've been able to do, because I've been listening, I think I've produced or hosted over 9,000 TV shows. That's a lot of shows. And most of them are with other people. But what I've been able to do is set boundaries for myself. So there's certain topics that I will not engage with people. And I know certain people like to talk about certain topics. So I just make it known I will not have a conversation with you about politics, for example. It's a lose lose situation. So somebody might make a comment, and I think to myself, there's something going on with them. I'm not going to judge them, but I'm not engaging. Sometimes people will like a fishing rod, they'll throw something out to see if we'll pull it, put the bait out there and see if we'll go for it. I'm not going for the bait. So if you're going for the bait, you're walking towards the bear again. So you have the option every day to make a different choice, to make a choice where you choose you and you choose peace, as opposed to choosing to engage in negative energy. So many of us will be heading out for the holidays, going to families, and people are coming with different stories, different journeys. And so when everyone is all together, it's kind of like if you cook and you're making a stew and you throw all kinds of things into the pot and you don't know what's going to come out, but you hope it's going to taste good. Well, if you haven't really thought it out and you haven't made the recipe before, it's likely that it might not come out the way that you want it to come out. So it's the same thing with human dynamics. When you're bringing a bunch of family members together, each family member is going through something of their own. You can choose how you want to show up. You can choose to show up with curiosity and be a listener, or you can show up with the boxing gloves on. You know, you're ready to go a few rounds, whether it's about politics, what's going on in the world, football. I mean, we could talk about a zillion different subjects. Or you can choose that for this period of time that I am with my family, when I say I mean the collective you, me, that I am with my family, I choose peace. I choose to listen with curiosity, and I am not going to judge. So when someone starts talking about politics and they have a different view than what you have, are you going to go toe to toe with them? So you're having a screaming match at your holiday dinner? That's fun. Everybody loves that, right? No, I don't think so. You can just choose to say nothing. 6-second pause, use your breath work, breathing in and breathing out through the nose, and let it go. Because if you think you're going to be able at a family dinner to earn brownie points by arguing with someone, first of all, the host or hostess is not going to be happy with you. You change the entire energy of the get together. And I've seen people walk out from family get togethers because somebody was so adamant about judging someone else. Sometimes people have some alcohol, they start to imbibe, and the next thing you know, their guard is down and they are saying some really mean things. This is all judgment. So I want you, I want me, I want all of us to think about our role. What is the role that we're playing in our relationships? Are we walking towards the bear and maybe bringing something to hurt the bear? Maybe that's what we're doing. We say to ourselves, you know what? I've had enough. I'm going for the bear and I'm going to take the bear out. Well, the likelihood of you taking the bear out is probably low. Okay. Because you don't know about the bear's instincts. And it's the same thing when you engage with humans. You don't know how far down and dirty the other person's going to go. So while you feel that you've been wronged and it's time to set the record straight, you don't know where it's going to go. It could even end up in violence. I've seen things escalate to the point where people cannot come back. Relationships are completely ruined. So on a positive note, we have skills. What are they? The skills are elevated listening. The skills are the 6-second pause. The skills are acknowledging we're starting to feel upset. Let it go. And choosing not to poke the bear, choosing not to engage in controversy, choosing to promote peace. Peace for you, peace for me, and peace for the world. Thank you for listening. I will leave you with this. I mentioned my new single. Please listen to what I say. I have a clip that I will run, but I'd love it if you're on iTunes, Apple iTunes, you can just go and download this, or Spotify, or even Amazon Music. But let's take a look and a listen just to the clip. Thank you for being here. I'll see you again tomorrow. And if you haven't done so yet, please do subscribe to our channels. We've got 2 YouTube channels. I'm looking for the graphic here. And they are USA Global TV and Radio, and also Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. You can subscribe right there and be part of our community. And for now, I will leave you with this teaser of Please Listen to What I Say.
Listen, babe, now, listen, babe, now. Listen, babe, now, listen, babe, now. Listen, babe, now, listen, babe, now.
Every woman carries a story of strength, of purpose, of light. Through her courage, the world is transformed. Through her grace, generations are inspired. This is Iconic Women. Within Every Woman Lives a Goddess, a celebration of brilliance, beauty, and empowerment. Join us every Wednesday at 11 a.m. New York, 4 p.m. London time, only here on USA, Global TVR, and Radio. Featuring the iconic Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, honoring voices that shine across the world. Subscribe to our YouTube channels, USA Global TV and Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, to watch and engage with all our content. World-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honored to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA Global TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting. We're building bridges and changing lives, one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dies. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.